we understand Germany's relation with Israel. And we're going to say it very openly and very clearly. Supporting this Israeli government is not supporting Israel. On the contrary, supporting Israel means standing up to what Israel is doing in terms of violating international law, in terms of violating humanitarian international law, in terms of pushing towards escalation, in terms of killing innocent people. The Palestinians are the biggest victims of this aggression.
What about the settlements? What about the behavior of the settlers now, continuous, daily? What about the dispossession, their land, their rights, their dignity, their men, their women, their children? Are these of no concern?
So before I start, I want to share my nasty experience with all of you. What YouTube did yesterday was chilling. And I wrote about it as well. Some of you may have read my post in community note and elsewhere in the comment section. My last video on Houthi inflicting insult on the mighty US was demonetized. I didn't know why. I was told that it wasn't suitable for YouTube's advertisers. So I appealed, and after 16 hours and 70,000 views, they have restored the monetization. So now they're telling me that they were wrong to say that it was not suitable for their advertisers. But now that they have restored the monetization, this is of no use, because the video is unlikely to get any more significant number of views. Despite my requests on Twitter, no one, absolutely no one from the YouTube has chosen to explain as to why this action was taken against me, when I take utmost care in following YouTube guidelines. Last year, in fact, YouTube had invited me to be their partner of their prestigious accelerator program. They know that. That program specifically trains you and arms you with all the understanding of your YouTube guidelines and how you should be following them. That's precisely what I have been doing up until now. So this action was shocking. And I still don't know if it was the thumbnail of Blinken's photo with humiliation tag or the topic itself. I don't know what was the trigger point. Now you realize the importance of your support for this platform, for an independent media platform. So please do not be a bystander. Humble request to you. Please do not be a bystander and support Janta Ka Reporter either on buymecoffee.com or Patreon. Your support is absolutely needed. If you really want this platform to take on the misinformation and agenda-driven journalism of mainstream news platforms, then you have to support this. Without your support, nothing can happen. Now let's return to today's topic. Have you seen the video of Jordanian Foreign Minister literally admonishing his German counterpart when they recently met? It was during a question and answer session with media that the Jordanian Foreign Minister decided to speak his mind. He asked the German Foreign Minister as to when her country, Germany, would impose sanctions on Israel, which he said had become a pariah state under the current regime of war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu. He didn't mention the war criminal's name, but I'm saying that. He singled out war criminals Ben Gvir and Smotrich for criticism, but did not mention Benjamin Netanyahu. He was, however, pretty forthright in accurately highlighting the devastating impact of Israel's genocidal campaign on Gaza's 600,000 plus children who are being denied to go to school the second year in a row. I'm talking about those 600,000 plus children who Israeli savages or terrorists haven't been able to kill yet. Although this meeting between foreign ministers of Jordan and Germany took place a few days ago, the video of Ayman Safadi has now gone viral.
If I may just add to that question. Look, I mean, we understand Germany's relation with Israel. And we're going to say it very openly and very clearly. Supporting this Israeli government is not supporting Israel. On the contrary, supporting Israel means standing up to what Israel is doing in terms of violating international law, in terms of violating humanitarian international law, in terms of pushing towards escalation, in terms of killing innocent people. The Palestinians are the biggest victims of this aggression. But the credibility of international law is also a victim. The standing, and I have to be very, very honest if I may, Annalena, the standing of countries like Germany in the region is also a victim. This Israeli government does not care about international law. It has shown that it does not care about international humanitarian law. It has shown that it does not care about peace and about its friends. And that's why it has defied even its friends. The humanitarian axis, the US, Germany, other close friends of Israel have urged Israel to end the siege on Gaza and to allow for sufficient humanitarian aid. The Israeli government shunned them. The US, Germany, and others have been pushing for ceasefire talks. Israeli Prime Minister aborted those talks. Even the exchange deal, everybody has supported the exchange deal. The Israeli Prime Minister aborted the exchange talks because he does not want them. He wants to continue with this war. So the question that should be asked is supporting this Israeli government, supporting the long-term interest of Israel of living in a region where it can live in peace, accepted and normalized with? Or should we face the fact that what this Israeli government is doing is rendering Israel a pariah state that will not be accepted in the region, is supporting a precedent of violating international law? And again, as I said, I mean, we look to Germany as a country that has been very advanced in protecting international law, international humanitarian law. And the question that is put on the table, when will Germany impose sanctions on those who clearly violate international law and international humanitarian law? How could anybody not endorse imposing sanctions on radical extremists like Ben Gvir and like Smotrich and others who openly justify the killing of Palestinians, who openly promote a culture of hate, who openly promote violating international law? So this is the reality with which we're all faced right now. The danger of this war continuing and escalating is a threat to all of us, to the region and to Europe. So the right thing to do is to do everything we possibly can to stop this escalation. And I think it is time, after 40,000 people killed, after 75% of Gaza destroyed, after 600,000 Palestinian children denied the right to go to school for the second year consecutively, after the destruction of every hope for peace in the West Bank, after the building of settlements, which Germany considers illegal, confiscation of land, which Germany considers illegal, what do we do now? Do we just allow one man's dark ideology and political ambitions to doom the whole region to war and conflict and hurting everybody, including Israel? Because ultimately, Israel will not have peace until the Palestinians have peace. That has been the reality. We want for the region to live in peace. We want for Palestinians and Israelis to live in peace. But for that to happen, Palestinians have to have their rights. And for Palestinians to have their rights, all of us in the international community must stand on the side of justice, on the side of international law, on the side of our human values, and say this is enough and what's wrong is wrong. It is time that this Israeli government faced consequences for the danger to which it is subjecting the whole region. And again, Germany has a very advanced sanction law system, has been at the forefront of countries speaking for international law, and all we're asking is implement international law fairly and equally on everybody else, because if we do not, it will come back to haunt us all. If we allow for the selective application of international law, everybody will hurt in the future. So I think that is that is our message. The war must stop. The hatred must end. Those responsible for the continuation of this war must be held accountable. Those responsible for war crimes must be held accountable. And all of us need to come together and protect international law, protect international humanitarian law, and protect our collective interest and our collective right to live in peace and dignity and security. Thank you.
Look, what he told the German Foreign Minister was absolutely spot on. and the need of the hour. The current crisis in Gaza has exposed Germany and its love for sponsoring the second Holocaust in less than 100 years. The way its police has launched a brutal crackdown on those opposing genocide in Germany has been nothing less than despicable. It just shows the Germany's love for genocide and killing innocent people. They did that in the 40s, and now they are doing it again with the help of Israel. But let's not give an easy ride to Jordan. Jordan's role in supporting Israel in the current crisis too has been shameful. Jordan, along with the UAE and Saudi Arabia, had provided the land route to transport goods to Israel because the country could not import goods from foreign countries due to Houthis' action in the Red Sea. Jordan had denied providing land route. Okay, they said that it was misinformation, but they did so to calm down the angry protest in the country, because that report had evoked angry reactions from people in Jordan. But Israeli TV channel 13 had broadcast video interviews of those truck drivers to conclusively prove how Saudi, UAE, and Jordan had come to the rescue of Israel to beat the Red Sea sanction imposed by Houthis. These truck drivers were seen flaunting how it took them just 2 days to transport these goods via the land route to Israel. Jordan was also one of the first countries to pledge its support to defend Israel when Iran announced its retaliatory strikes on Israel this year. Jordan had even moved with lightning speed to shoot down Iranian drones that were aimed at Israeli military installations. So before you praise the Jordan Foreign Minister for his latest comments, it's important that you are aware of the bigger picture and the full context. Earlier, Malaysian PM Anwar Ibrahim had insulted his German counterpart during their media interaction on the same issue, on the issue of Israeli terrorism.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Your government supports Hamas and has, unlike Western countries, not classified the attack on Israel on October 7 as a terrorist attack. You yourself said in November that Hamas is not a terror organization. Do you stick to this assessment, and don't you fear that this position on Hamas can damage the relations to countries like Germany?
Well, thank you. Our foreign policy position is consistent. We do not support, or we oppose colonialism or apartheid or ethnic cleansing or dispossession of any country, be it Ukraine or in Gaza. We cannot erase 40 years of atrocities and dispossession, and which have resulted in reaction and anger from the societies or the people concerned. Now, our relations with Hamas is the political wing of Hamas, and I make no apologies about it. And that engagement has helped at least to bring about the concerns, including about hostages. We do not have any connection with any military outfit or wing. I've clarified this to many of my European colleagues in the United States and many countries. Although we may have some differences, but as we have recognized the Australian National Congress long before the Europeans or the Americans do recognize, because we believe that the apartheid policy must be opposed. So consistent with that policy, we have taken that position that we must understand the fundamental root cause of the problem, that people, their houses, their belongings, their dignity cannot be plundered, and if we can't resolve, they will resolve it. Do I then condone killings of children and women? No, I don't. By any party, by any quarters. That is consistent policy. But what I reject strongly is this narrative, this obsession, as if the entire problem begins and ends with the 7th of October. It did not begin with the 7th of October and did not end with 7th of October. It began 4 decades before that, and it is continuing daily. But having said that, my conclusion, as I've said to Chancellor, is this: we move on. We have a problem right now. Do we discuss history? We discuss past atrocities? Or discuss how to resolve the problem now? The problem now means cessation of hostilities, stop the killings now, and then the entire international community, Germany, Malaysia, and their neighbors, make sure that there's no more violence perpetrated by any group against the Muslims or Jews or Christians. They must be allowed to live in peace.
Good evening, Excellencies. My name is Haliza from TV3 Malaysia. You both mentioned about situation in Gaza, both mentioned about moving forward and two-state solution, but just how much influence this meeting can push for immediate humanitarian ceasefire? What next after this meeting?
Well, Germany is an important country. Europe has established good relations with Israel, and we have slightly better relations with Palestine, both the Palestinian Authority and even the political wing of Hamas. Of course, it's our duty, and of course with the other countries, United States and Arab countries neighboring Palestine and Israel, to do the utmost. We will have to be more positive in this direction. Situation, of course, is chaotic, is uncertain, I admit. I don't think it's an easy resolution. It's not only a tough stance of the Palestinian fighters who suffered immensely, but also a very tough stance by the Netanyahu government. So we will have to endure this exercise because there's no other solution. To stop the killing of innocent civilians on both sides, the only solution for now is a permanent ceasefire and an ultimate solution of a two-state solution. And this can be done if the international community have the courage and the commitment. I have said that sometimes we feel highly, depressing when you realize there's somewhat like a moral abandonment of this case because there's not a quick resolve, full commitment, a consistent one by all countries just to stop, the war and find a solution. I'm sure the international community still have the edge, which means both in the Middle East, Middle Eastern countries, and Europe, United States, and the international community.
Prime Minister, you are suggesting to leave history behind, but for the Israeli hostages, October the 7th is still the present, and for their relatives as well. So based on the conversations you're having with the political leadership of Hamas, what is the nature of your talks, and how hopeful are you that they will be released soon? Also, could you please tell us whether you see what happened on October 7th and the fact that these hostages are still being held as an act of terrorism?
Thank you. I've stated my case that atrocities for decades cannot be erased. You cannot find a solution by getting so one-sided in terms of looking only at one particular issue and erase 60 years of atrocities. The solution is not just releasing the hostages. I agree with release hostages, but that's not the solution. We are a small player. I don't have this excellent relations with Hamas, but I do. And I have told the Chancellor, yes, I did express my concern that the hostages must be released. But then, can you say, is that all, full stop, period? What about the settlements? What about the behavior of the settlers now, continuous, daily? What about the dispossession, their land, their rights, their dignity, their men, their women, their children? Are these of no concern? Where have we thrown our humanity? Why this hypocrisy? Why this selective and ambivalent attitude towards one race and one another? Is it because they are colored or they are different religion? These questions are raised because there's a lack of consistency. If you ask me, yes, the solution, yes, two-state solution. Yes, recognize the rights of every single individual, be it a Muslim or a Jew or Christian. I make no means about it. But I, of course, cannot accept the fact that when you discuss issues, we only confine to one particular incident and one victim, forgetting the thousands and thousands of victims from the Nakba of 1947, 1948. Where is history irrelevant? Is humanity irrelevant? Is compassion irrelevant? I mean, that's my contention. Do I then support any form of atrocity against anybody? No. Do I believe the hostages should be kept? No. But to use the narrative only in one particular issue is not going to be a solution. You may satisfy some pockets of Muslims or Christians or Germans or Malaysians, but it does not and will not be able to resolve unless we are seen to be just and find an amicable resolution that is fair and just. Thank you.
These German genocide enablers deserve such public humiliation. That's it for me. Before I end, again, I repeat my appeal to all of you that you should support this platform. Details are there in description and in pinned comment. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.